Hello. Ooh, what the fuck was that? Hello. Hello, all you awesome people out there. Welcome back to I'm your host as always, Geek Viz Who, and we are back with our edition of our video game news drop here, bringing you the biggest news from the world of video gaming, roughly from about the end of February to but mostly at the start of March 2025 here as of right now. It is a wonderful, and I'll say that sarcastically, wonderful Sunday night. Well, it's night now. Sunday night here, especially if you in the Midwest. Fucking blizzard warning just came through, so it's a perfect time to just sit in and talk about some news, ain't it? By the way, if I get a little distracted, it's because the Oscars are currently on right now. The biggest award ceremony of the movie industry. It's on right now. I got it playing on my TV on the side there, so I might look over to the side every now and then. I'll try not to, but I no promises. But it's going on right now, which is why we're going to be recording our movie news tomorrow on Monday, so we can go over our Oscar winners there. So if you haven't already, watch that one because I'm recording this video before that video, but that video will be out before this video. If that makes sense, if you feel what I'm saying. So yeah, make sure you check that out. Not movie news, TV news also dropped on Wednesday, so feel free to check that out as well. But we're here for the video games, so let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be going over here today. For this edition of News Drop, we got, guess what? Brand new news on Mindseye and the weird fucking shit going on with the fucking CEO of Build a Rocket Boy on over there. I just thought it was a funny ass joke. We got a marathon dev commenting on the new strange phenomenon of Steam DB watching. Jeff Kaplan came back outside. That was surprising. He's talking about a little bit of some stuff. We got the award season still going on strong in the video game world as we're going to talk about our BAFTA Award nominations. Xbox just unveiled the first few details of their brand new system. We also got some news on some Resident Evil Requiem DLC. Unfortunately, also layoffs also happening over at EA for Battlefield. And of course, ending things off with some trailers at the very end. So that's everything we will be talking about here today. Any other news I want to talk about? I don't know what to talk about. Oscars March. Oscars March has wrapped up. I watched all 10 Best Picture nominated movies. I gave my choices. I gave my picks for all the Oscar winning movies for all the nominations. So feel free to check that video out as well. But you can check that out before you get to the award winners to see how I did. So feel free to check all that out. But anyway, that's enough for the yapping. Time to get to the yapping transition. What the hell is happening with Mindseye right now? That's very true. The studio co-CEO alleges espionage and corporate sabotage doomed Mindseye loss. If y'all remember, back when Mindseye first came out and they got all those bad reviews and it didn't sell very well, there were some layoffs across Build a Rocket Boy right after the launch of Mindseye. And also, when that happened, the CEO came out and said that he thinks there was some kind of undercover secret conspiracy to get Mindseye fucking destroyed before the game even came out, and he was dead set on finding out who was starting this campaign. And apparently, it seems like we've had more layoffs, and he has an update on what's going on with this as well. The saga of Mindseye continues to get weirder. The third-person action game from studio Build a Rocket Boy had a very weird and troubled launch last June. Headlined by co-CEO Mark Gerhard saying the negative reception to the game was a targeted campaign 100%, being funded by an ominous outsider. Some players were able to receive refunds for their purchase of the bug-filled game, while Build a Rocket Boy's attempts at damage control failed spectacularly. The studio was hit with layoffs shortly after launch, and the remaining developers put out a sizable update last month in an attempt to turn the game around and bring players back. It hasn't. Going by public player count numbers on Steam, Mindseye's highest concurrent peak player count was 80 players in the month since the update. All of this brings us to the present moment. Build a Rocket Boy is once again going through a round of layoffs for Gerhard, once again pointing conspiracies as to why Mindseye failed. In a message posted to LinkedIn by the studio on Wednesday, Gerhard took responsibility for the redundancies before immediately pointing to how Mindseye's launch was affected by factors beyond normal operational challenges in a competitive environment. Those factors presumably being the smear campaign Gerhard alleges was waged against Build a Rocket Boy. Gerhard noted how the studio had been working with legal teams to investigate the criminal activity that took place around our launch. According to Gerhard, that investigation has now resulted in overwhelming evidence of organized espionage and corporate sabotage affecting Mindseye. Because this matter is moving towards prosecution, we cannot share the full details publicly as of yet. Hey, probably saying some bullshit. In February, Inside Gaming reported that Gerhard claimed in an internal meeting that they caught the guys behind the smear campaign. He allegedly called them a bunch of gangsters and said they will all be served in person criminal complaints shortly. One of the people Gerhard alleges is against him is the YouTuber Cyberboy, who's issued a cease and desist demand, I remember that, but Build a Rocket Boy as a result of a video that claimed Mindseye director Leslie Benzies was in the Epstein files. Which, by the way, that's not even a fucking lie, right? He actually fucking is. He actually is, ain't he? Yeah, this nigga, he is in the fucking Epstein files, ain't he? Like, that's not an allegation. It's in there. I couldn't spell for shit. Executive business section on the email. Yeah, he's in there. Fucking like that's not an aggregate. That's not an aggregation. It's in court fucking documents. What the fuck is he talking about? And then of course, it's like if apparently the bunch of gangsters that are being served criminal complaints are literally just a bunch of fucking YouTubers who badmouth the game. This nigga's a fucking idiot. So to answer the question, what the hell is happening with Mindseye right now? It turns out a hell of a lot is going on with developing Build a Rocket Boy, between unfortunate layoffs, alleged criminal activity at the studio, and a recent update. All for a game that, by all accounts, is pretty terrible. And that's the crazy thing about it. It's not a smear campaign. It's not even points of fucking like suggestiveness. The game was a buggy fucking mess that didn't fucking work. That was the problem with the game, and also the story was boring. It was very lackluster, and it wasn't much to do. They fucking sold this game as a massive open world in the city, and to my understanding, you only go to the city in one fucking mission, and you don't actually go into the city. It all takes place outside of it. So I don't know what fucking Mark Gerhard is smoking up there, but yeah. And it didn't say it, but they put the announcement out of the layoffs happening. In addition to him talking about how more of this corporate espionage bullshit. So he was like, so unfortunately, I take responsibility. The game didn't work. We haven't moved the amount of units we sold. So unfortunately, we have to let a bunch of people go. But in other news, I found the motherfuckers responsible for this criminal activity against our game, and I am going to serve them all criminal complaints face to face. I was going to be there to hand them out myself. It's like, bro, will you shut the fuck up? So yeah, that's what's going on with Mindseye right now. Like I said, I don't know what the hell this man got going on. Did I talk about this? I think I talked about PlayStation moving games off PC. If not, PlayStation talking about moving their games off PC. So there you go. All right, next up, Marathon Dev says player count watching is unemployed behavior. And I can't lie. He ain't lying. Everyone is concerning themselves with Marathon's player count, one way or another. Either you're curious to see if the game will fail, or you're hopeful it will succeed. In recent days, we've seen social media channels packed full of people talking about the impending collapse of Marathon, which isn't as likely as you might think. This conversation has prompted developers far and wide to share their thoughts about player count watching. As you can imagine, they're not pleased with the rhetoric. In a post on social media, one user was talking about a 50% player count drop on Marathon, suggesting that just days after release, the extraction shooter from Bungie is facing the abyss and is about to fall in. That's far from the truth just now, but who knows? Maybe one day. In response, a senior design working on Overwatch, Dylan Snyder, took to social media with a damning statement. Is the 50% player drop in the room with us right now? Feel free to dislike and pass up any games you want. More power to you. But this is big, unemployed, maidenless behavior. You ain't got no job, you ain't got no bitches. Nigga, shut your bitchless ass up. The behavior Snyder suggested to talk about refers to the personality that some build, which was also them doing nothing but talking about the ebb and flow of games on social media. It's often accompanied by a little more than numbers, screen capture from SteamDB, as that's typically the only platform with public figures. Yeah, just so y'all know, the SteamDB only does PC player counts. The console player counts is not publicly available. And yeah, people will go to SteamDB with a game and talk about the player count, how many players is lost, as like a joke. It was really big on like the high guard shit. It was really big with the Concord shit. That kind of led to one of like the biggest reason like Concord, one of the biggest boulders to fall for Concord was somebody shared the SteamDB when I think when its beta was out or some shit. I can't remember. But yeah, basically motherfuckers post the SteamDB numbers, which shows you how many players on PC are playing the game at a certain moment or throughout the month and shit like that. And they use it to fucking push their agenda about, the game failing and shit like that. Marathon at the time of this writing dropped to 33,645 players from an all-time high of launch of 88,000 players. It is showing a negative trend, but that was almost expected. Yeah, by the way, guys, this happens all the time. You'll get a massive, not even with fucking games, movies. Typically, a movie's biggest fucking revenue is the opening fucking weekend. When it first comes out, it's when it'll see its largest surge of money and ticket sales. And with a game, that's when it'll usually do. When the game first launches, it's going to be its highest player count because everybody's getting on it for the first time. Like I said, this is a live service, so it is a negative thing that it is, but it's still retaining a good number. Extraction shooters aren't the most popular game in the world, and they're not adopted as quickly or widely as other titles. A Marathon also had a premium paywall in front of it. It's not exonerate, but it's something. That's true too. The barrier for entry is more too, because you actually have to pay for this, unlike High Guard, which was free, and that had a massive player count drop as well. But it also had more players jumping in at launch because it was free. Marathon is not free, so there's less. It has a higher barrier for entry. You have to pay for the game if you want to play it. There's also the inherent complexity of the game and the niche art style. There are a lot of things that might prevent the game from getting the sweeping and universal praise some are hoping for. But the number it has right now, A, aren't indicative of the game on all platforms, true, and B, might just be fine for Bungie, which is also true as well. All you need is just a couple thousand people to sustain the game. And also, that's another thing too. 88,000 on launch is okay. You know you're going to get a drop-off. Because the thing you're trying to find, especially with these live service games that try to continue on, you need to find your core fucking audience. Marvel Rivals averaged like 100,000 players when that shit first launched, like a year or two ago. It's now entering its second year. Yeah, those numbers is not close to what it was when it first launched because people dropped out. But guess what? It still has a pretty steady number because it found its core audience of players who will continue to look, who like the game and continue to play. And that's what Marathon has to find right now. It has to find its core audience of players who like the game and will continue playing it. And from what I hear, people who play the game like it, who put in like a nice number, a nice amount of time on the game. They actually enjoy it. And one of the biggest things I've been hearing about is that like the actual story and the why for you to keep playing is actually present. And it's actually pretty fun and pretty good too. Which kind of has me thinking like I might actually give this a try and try it. And you know the thing about, also talk about these player accounts and shit like that, especially with these games, literally you buy it, you play it, you give that shit give that shit maybe 2-3 months, maybe 6 if you're really liking it. And then if it runs its course for you, that's absolutely fine. You drop it and you move on. This is the biggest thing for these goddamn people. They don't know how to fucking move on. They have to stick on shit so fucking much. Alright, next up. Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan breaks his silence on leaving Blizzard. There was too much focus on let's make lots of money really fast. He was pressured to keep ratcheting up to deliver more and more profits. So Jeff Kaplan was a 19-year veteran of Blizzard when he suddenly left the company in 2021. He was the director of Overwatch, the company's most successful new franchise in years, and ended up departing 2 years before the sequel shipped. Almost 5 years later, he's finally revealed why he left. The answer has to do with corporate mismanagement and the increasing pressure to deliver huge profits. The original Overwatch launched in 2016 alongside an explosion in hype around esports. Kaplan said that while his desire was to keep the game's post-launch focus on introducing new world events and updates, a push by Activision Blizzard into competitive gaming diverted the team's time and resources, which completely bit them in the ass because that bubble popped real hard, real fast. Where it got away from us, this is a quote from him, where it got away from us is that there was a lot of excitement about Overwatch League, like too much. This is an interview he had with Lex Friedman. It got over-marketed to people buying the teams. They went to this road show where they had a deck, and you could put anything in the deck and sell anything. And they were pretty much selling the Brooklyn Bridge. That Overwatch League was going to be more popular than the NFL. The eventual establishment of the Overwatch League, a franchise system where teams sold for millions of dollars each, ended up being a house of cards that the company couldn't deliver on. Activision Blizzard had reportedly projected $125 million in revenue from the venture to start, money that never materialized before the league was eventually shut down in 2023. When the league couldn't deliver the profits to team owners and that the company had promised, there became mounting pressure to use in-game microtransactions to help boost esports revenue. The result was resources that could have been put into new content and keeping the game dynamic was instead being poured into esports monetization opportunities. My parents always said the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and that was the Overwatch League, and it ended up being an albatross, Kaplan said. His team at Overwatch was also tasked with delivering a sequel. Unlike the Overwatch 2 that eventually shipped in 2023, the original vision for the game was that of a big PvE push that would live alongside the ongoing PvP portion. But with the success of the original game, which made $1 billion in revenue in its first year, goddamn, the rise of live service juggernauts like Fortnite, there was pressure to deliver even higher profits. What ultimately broke me in my Blizzard career was when I got called into the CFO's office and he sits me down and says, he gives me a date, which at the time was 2020, was going to slip to 2021, but at the time it was 2020, and that he said, Overwatch has to make blank in 2020. And then every year after that, it needs to recurring revenue of, and then he says to me, if it doesn't do that, we're going to lay off 1,000 people, and that's going to be on you. God damn, that shit. Yeah, that's fucking shit. First of all, he says, probably gave him a fucking just a completely just unreachable number. Like, we'll talk about it later, but y'all remember when fucking it was announced that Battlefield, it was like the amount of money they put into it, they needed to like average like 1 million players like daily on that bitch. Yeah, this is like that. And then he says, you need to make this amount of fucking money, and if you can't make it, we're cutting the team. And guess what? When those people get cut, that's on you. That's fucking bullshit. Kaplan says the number was censored per his NDA, and that was the biggest fuck you moment I've had in my career. I just said that. It felt surreal to be in that condition. Yeah, that's crazy. Kaplan never mentions the exec by name. The CFO at the time was Dennis Durkin. He ended up departing the company in early 21, just a couple months after Kaplan. According to former Blizzard president Mike Ybarra, Durkin was not the exec he was talking about. The experience of leaving Blizzard broke me, the Overwatch director said. He added that he wished game developers would know their value more and not hand over the golden goose to people who don't deserve it. True. Separating from Blizzard was one of the most painful things, he said, and I was very sad when I resigned, and I didn't realize how broken I was until recently, like the mourning, grieving I had gone through. Damn. Yeah, so he said the reason he left was because fucking motherfuckers Activision putting the pressure on them because they was like, we need to make fucking money. They put way too much stock, why'd it come out like that? Way too much stock and way too much fucking money into the esports thing. And when that shit burst, they was like, we made a promise to give these people money. We need to give them money. And then of course, who did they go to? They went to the fucking the boots on the ground developers and told them, you need to make this or we fucking cutting your people. Yeah, that's another thing. That's a whole other thing of when it comes to these two. Like, the game industry now, when a game happens, like this fucking Mindseye shit. When a game launches and it's either not what you thought or it doesn't do well, and all this other shit, when all of it happens and people are so quick to run to the developers and start pointing the finger at them, when literally the first people we should always go to is these fucking executives, these goddamn suits who force them to make these weird ass decisions and these dumbass choices. And then when it doesn't work out, it's the devs who fucking pay instead of them. And I always thought that was just such a fucked up aspect of everything. But yeah, so Jeff Kaplan, he came back and talked about some more stuff. He doesn't like, like AI live service. But this is the main thing I really want to talk about. Because I mean, you can really pinpoint when the fucking Overwatch League failed and it started to dry up and the interest dwindled. You can kind of tell because the game kind of reflected that as well. That's when Overwatch really kind of started to fall off. And then when they launched 2, it really kind of fell off after that. I watched the video that was talking about the failure of the Overwatch League, and literally they were talking about how one of the reasons why the league lost so much viewership and eyes and started to become so boring was because they didn't focus on the game. Like, they eventually, like, there was the meta. Everybody only played the fucking meta and the meta heroes, and it became a very boring watch. Because they weren't focusing on changing up anything in the game. You know, they were too busy focusing on expanding the league. So there you go. But yeah, award season still fully upon us. We had our BAFTAs for TV, we had it for film, but now it's time for the games to get their turn. I don't know why I'm still getting these goddamn ads at the bottom. Clear Obscure and Dispatch leads the BAFTA Game Awards nominations. The full sweep of nominations have been revealed for the 2026 BAFTA Game Awards, and Clear Expeditions. Expedition 33 and Dispatch are sitting at the top of the table. In the numbers, a whopping 17 studios have been nominated for the first time, and the majority of the nominees in the performance category could also make their BAFTA Games debut. The BAFTA organization has lifted the lid on the 4 nominations. Today's nominations recognize 42 outstanding games that highlight the very best of the global games industry. This year's nominations reflect an industry reshaping itself with a vibrant mix of established studios standing among a wide range of independent studios, and a number of development teams earning nominations for the first time. The exceptional craft, artistry, and innovation behind these titles shines through. So here are our list of nominees. Animation: Battlefield 6, Death Stranding 2, Dispatch, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Silksong. I guess prediction is what they think is going to win. I would guess prediction is what they think is going to win. Artistic achievement: Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Dispatch, Ghost of Yotei, Silksong, South of Midnight. Audio: Arc Raiders, Clear Obscure, Death Stranding 2, Dispatch, Yotei, Indiana Jones. Best game: Expedition 33, Dispatch, Ghost of Yotei, Indiana Jones, Arc Raiders, Blueprints. British game: Adamfall, Sleeper Citizen 2, Mafia: The Old Country, Monument Valley 3, Power Wash Simulator 2. Hey, shouts out to you. 2 Point Museum. Best debut game: Blueprints, Clear Obscure, Katsumi, Despeloti, Dispatch, and The Midnight Walk. Evolving game: Vampire Survivors, Space Marine 2, Fallout 76, Helldivers 2, Hitman, No Man's Sky. God damn. No Man's Sky gets nominated on these type of categories every fucking year. It's crazy. Family game: Donkey Kong Bonanza, Is This Seat Taken, Lego Party, Mario Kart World, Power Wash Simulator 2, 2 Point Museum. Games Beyond Entertainment: The Alters, and Rogers, Sleeper Citizen 2, Katsumi, Despelote, Stalker 2. Game Design: Ball X Pit, Blueprints, Clear Obscure, Yotei, Hades 2, Split Fiction. Oh shit! Oh my god! Okay, we did it. Multiplayer: Arc Raiders, Dune, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Lego Peak, Split Fiction. Music: Clear Obscure, Death Stranding, Dispatch, Yotei, Silksong, Indiana. Narrative: The Alters, Blueprints, Clear Obscure, Death Stranding, Indiana Jones, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. New IP: The Alters, Arc Raiders, Clear Obscure, Dispatch, South of Midnight, Split Fiction. Performer in a leading role: you got Aaron Paul for Dispatch, Ben Starr for Clear Obscure, Eric Ishii, Yotei, Jennifer English, Clear Obscure, Tom McKay, Kingdom Come, and Troy Baker, Indiana Jones. Supporting role: Alex Wilton Reagan, Liza P. That must be for the expansion. Charlie Cox, Clear Obscure, Jane Perry, Dead Take, Jeffrey Wright, Dispatch, Chrissy Ryder, Clear Obscure, and Troy Baker, Death Stranding 2. This thing is in the award for supporting and lead actor. That's crazy. And in technical achievement, Indiana Jones, Split Fiction, Arc Raiders, Death Stranding, Doom, and Ghost of Yosei. The BAFTA Game Awards are going to air on Friday, April 17th. All right, so that is the BAFTA Game Awards. Award season still going strong in stride. All right, we got to talk about, oh my God, Pedro Pascal shaved his fucking beard. My bad. Project Helix. Xbox shares new hardware details for the next generation console that they have dubbed Project Helix. At the GDC, one of the biggest keynotes came from Xbox. That's because the company took the stage to reveal new information on Project Helix, the recently revealed codename for its next generation console. As previously detailed by CEO Asha Sharma, Project Helix is being designed to play console and PC games. The keynote states that part of Xbox's multi-year partnership with AMD, Helix will be powered by a custom AMD SoC microchip that is co-designed for the next generation of DirectX and FSR. What that means is the hardware will deliver, according to Xbox Wire post by Vice, an order of magnitude leap in ray tracing performance and a capability that integrates intelligence directly into the graphics and compute pipeline and drives meaningful gains in efficiency, scale, and visual ambition. To put it plainly, games will look more realistic, boast more dynamic growth, and feel more immersive overall. Yeah. So if y'all don't know, GDC, the Game Developers Conference, is basically, as it says, it's for the game developers. So they talk more on the technical aspect of shit as opposed to like the actual games and things like that. Which is why, like, we got all this smart guy talk here. Ronald also revealed that Xbox plans to ship alpha versions of Project Helix to developers starting in 2027. He also discusses Xbox's strategy for breaking down the barrier between console and PC games. By the way, if they're shipping this in 2027, that means we might be looking at 2028, 2029 maybe to start getting some games. I would guess they've already kind of maybe shipped some out in-house to more of the Xbox house in-house developers. But maybe they're shipping it to more third-party developers now. But yeah, it could mean we're getting things in so they can start working on launch titles and shit. He also discussed the Xbox strategy for breaking down the barrier between console and PC to create more seamless crossplay across multiple devices. The goal is to give studios a simplified development path to help reduce production costs, which is always a good thing, especially with the industry now and all these fucking layoffs and all these games failing. Anything to reduce their production costs is always going to be a good thing. That doesn't involve fucking laying people off, you fuckheads. To this end, Xbox is also taking a page from the ROG Xbox Ally by introducing an Xbox mode in Windows 11 in April. Starting in unspecified select markets, Xbox mode lets players switch seamlessly between work and game applications, with the familiar full screen and controller optimized Xbox experience while embracing the openness of Windows. With developers getting their first look at Project Helix next year, we probably shouldn't expect the full reveal until 2028 at the earliest. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Which means which could mean we could be looking at a holiday 2028 release. Of course, you also can't deny the fact that the with the Ramageddon going on. Also, there's this little thing called a fucking war going on in the middle. In Iran, which is also causing a lot of problems, so that could delay shit too. I'm starting to feel a little surprised that Xbox is openly discussing this console already, until you realize it will be 6 years since the series launched in November. The flow of time is strange and unsettling beast sometimes. Yep. So there you go. The Project Helix, dope logo, I will say at the very least, for this early project name. So just know that the next Xbox is actively in development. We could see the official reveal on the horizon pretty soon, at least within the next 2 years, possibly. We could see the reveal of the brand new console. So, there you go. Good news there. I'm excited. I've already made my jump to PC already, so the fact that it's an Xbox PC hybrid doesn't interest me too much now. But I will say, if it was before I built my PC, like if I didn't build it the year I built it, and I was still kind of on the fence about it, and then the RAM shit started, so I'm like, well, that dream's out the window now. This definitely would interest me. A lot more. Next up, Resident Evil Requiem Story DLC is in development. Resident Evil Requiem has been a massive critical success, and now it seems it's doing well sales-wise too. Not only that, but fans of Grace and Leon's terrifying adventure can look forward to new content thanks to newly announced story DLC. Requiem director Koshi Nakanishi appeared in a short video posted to social media thanking fans for supporting the game, and it also said it already sold over 5 million copies since launch less than 2 weeks ago. Oh, that's dope. I told you this is already a very early Game of the Year contender already. He then shares that additional performance patches and updates are on the way, including a photo mode and some unspecified minigames sometime in May. The biggest news was the announcement that additional story content was currently in production. Nakanishi doesn't reveal any details, only stating that it will delve deeper into the world of Requiem, and said the DLC will take some time to come to fruition. So it wasn't like something that was ready at launch and they cut it and they're going to release it early. It's probably like, it seems more in line of like, now that the game's done and they launched it, they did any kind of post-launch patches and hot fixes. Now it's like, okay, now we're going to start throwing around ideas for story expansion. This is the quote. This is the full message. You can read it if you're interested. There you go. One interesting bit is that before really the story DLC, Nakanishi comically flips through various paper flyers bearing other promotional images. One image shows Leon and another obscured woman in a romance, James Bond-esque adventure card, Forbidden Requiem, while another says Biohazard Requiem DLC. That displays the game's box art with the Grayson Leon's head replaced by cats. Another slide shows Requiem villain Victor Gideon sitting behind a poker table in a scene reminiscent of Buckshot Roulette or Inscription. Before anyone gets excited about Capcom teasing additional DLC or spread-out projects, these images are very likely to be jokes and not actual content. Capcom tried to like Leon wouldn't be a thing in Requiem before its reveal though. New story DLC isn't a huge surprise given that 7 and Village received substantial story expansions, but we're excited to see how Capcom builds off its excellent work with Requiem. For more information, Requiem, be sure to read. Okay, sure. So there you go. If you enjoyed the game, know that there is more of it coming. It's gonna be a bit far off, but there is more coming. All right, and of course we got to end things off on another low note. EA makes layoffs across all Battlefield studios in realignment bid. That's what they always fucking say. But granted, there is this at least does have a pretty valuable excuse though. Because I mentioned this earlier, y'all remember. Earlier last year, EA got bought out by a Saudi investment fund, by a Saudi investment group. So, like, they're owned by a Saudi company now. And I mentioned it, I was like, when these things happen, and these acquisitions and these studios get absorbed and merged to one another, one of the first things that happen is fucking layoffs. And lo and behold, here we go. It's been revealed that EA is making a slew of layoffs across Battlefield Studios' group of teams, moving to realign the space as the live service release of Battlefield 6 continues to evolve. It has been reported that employees across Criterion, DICE, Ripple Effect, and Motive are impacted. This revelation came courtesy of IGN, which confirmed that an unknown number of developers have been hit by the layoffs, but it seems to be impacting several teams across various offices that make up Battlefield Studios' group. Despite Battlefield's initial success, the game started slipping substantially in the weeks that followed its release in October 2025. Oh yeah, because Battlefield 6 is actually the top-selling game of last year. But also, they were really slow on updating the content. I think they delayed Season 2 quite a bit. They lost Vincent Zampella to a car crash during the holidays as well, so that didn't help either. It had immense expectations, with many believing it would be the saving grace of a series in dire need of revitalization. Unfortunately, the game's evolution hasn't yielded the strongest results as the months have pushed on. IGN recent report lifted the veil on the wave of layoffs that reportedly struck the end of the end-to-end network of studios backing Battlefield. We've since reached out to EA and Associated Studios for clarification. In February, it was revealed that Battlefield developers were anxious about the game's roadmap, critically aware of the make-or-break nature of each successive update. At the tail end of 2025, EA shareholders approved of the landmark $55 billion sale that would see the company acquired by a consortium, including the Saudi Arabia, as I mentioned before. Shortly after that, the striking news dropped that Vince Zampella, the head of the Battlefield franchise, had been killed. Yeah, I mentioned that too. So, so it says they were worried about things. Of course, it seems like they were worried about that after they lost Vince. So, of course, like the guy who was kind of steering the ship was gone. So they were worried about what they would do if they could keep things up. And unfortunately, they were not able to. They kind of slipped, and unfortunately, now it's equated to these layoffs. So what the future of Battlefield 6 is going to be, we don't know. The game did sell very well. The game sold very well. Like I said, top selling game of last year. But that's the thing when you got these live service games, and you want people to stay on and continue to play your game long term, because that's what keeps it alive. You got to be able to update and keep things interesting. And unfortunately, they just weren't able to do that. All right, and that is it for our news stories. Now we're going to go ahead and get into some trailers. We got quite a bit. I think I got like 10 lined up here. So we are going to go ahead and check all these out. Let me go ahead and pause the music. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and check these out. Starting off with a trailer called Stupid Never Dies. Rip Rise get a first look at Stupid Never Dies in this latest trailer for the upcoming action RPG. Action-packed gameplay more. It's available on PS5 and Steam in 2026. All right, let's see what they talk. Let's see what we go over. Let's see what's going
Technology.
On. It's only the video games I get the fucking ads for. It's crazy.
Go die! Die where? KOM has swallowed up humankind.
Oh, what's this game
all of
revealed
our
at the Game
collective
Awards?
intelligence. Since you now have the same ability he does, you can take it all back and resurrect the human species.
There's a lot going on.
I'd give my life to get hers back. Oh wait, I'm already dead.
The only way to revive her is to dive into the dungeon, eat KOM, and seize the over technology.
I'll give it credit. It's definitely
You should start hitting
its
back.
own style.
There's a special kind of miasma that drifts within the dungeon. Therefore, there is a time
I can't
limit
see
to
this
your
if they get
activities.
like something else.
When you return to the dungeon, it should reduce the time required to rejuvenate. The speed of your growth will increase with each trip to the dungeon.
Is it a roguelike?
One thing is for certain. Once the power in the cold storage goes off, your girl is a goner.
You told me this now?
Acid trip. I thought it just said crack 50, 100. So yeah, I still have no idea what the hell's going on. But like I said, it adds the whole thing. Werewolves, lizardmen, skeletons, in a world where monsters are a part of everyday life, a bottom-rung zombie named Davy braves a deadly dungeon to bring back Julia, the frozen human he loved. Man, it's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing. All right. Next up, don't mess with a Bober. I don't know what the hell that means. Or you play cozy games? Oh my gosh, the damn thing, really. Alright, well, that shit ain't for me, but alright. Atmospheric first-person horror game inspired by a 1980s classic. A seemingly innocent vacation turns into a nightmare. A small mistake during your holiday can unleash the wrath of an enraged beaver seeking revenge. Immerse yourself in a chilling experience with tension, suspense, and classic horror elements. Alright. Let's see, what is this? Remothered, Red Nun's Legacy. Now it's trailer for the game, the third and final chapter in the cult survival horror trilogy, developed and published by Stormine Games.
What are we willing to do to save our children?
Developers of intense stories.
The bodies of 4 of the previously reported missing have been found.
A child is dreaming in REM phase. With open wings, a moth is ablaze.
Oh, that's an actual gameplay. Sure reminds me of a Telltale game. Wish list now, game later. Right. Again, not for me, but you know, if you into that stuff. Alright. Let's see, this is /0. 3D action roguelike platformer developed by Street Lop Studios. Players will employ Time Hacker on a quest through different timelines to deal with the Lord of the Void once and for all. Explore a vibrant and detailed cyberpunk world, make use of deep combat skills, and fight for the truth of it all. /0, code PS5 and PC.
Heroes arrived unnoticed until it was too late. Slowly, time began to crumble. Watch among the fractured timelines. Fight until your last breath. And repeat.
That's a side-scroller action roguelike.
One false timeline after another. Until the Lord of the Void stands before us. Then, end this. As time hackers, this is our destiny. No matter how many times it repeats, I'll be here, waiting. Until you see the truth.
Alright, not that impressed, but you know, I'd have to see a little bit more. This is like anime Ninja Gaiden. Cal X. Begin your journey as a seeker on the warp-corrupted planet Cyro. The demo includes the... oh, this is a trailer for the demo. Oh my god, this looks really nice. I like the art style here. Looks like a super, like, hand-drawn animation. Oh, damn, that was it? This art style is very nice. I wonder how it would be like looking at this shit for a long ass time though. Like I feel like my eyes will start hurting. Combat looks like it's a demo though. I love demos. Demos have been selling me on a lot of games as of late. So I'll try it out. I'll try out the demo. Alright, next up is... Wait, did I put this on there twice? It is on here twice, my bad. Void Hunters.
Remount and recon.
Not that nigga. Lead fearless rebels in a dark fantasy turn-based RPG where tactical decisions and strategic squad building shape every battle against the world-devouring Void.
The void. I have seen its truth. Decay. Desolation. Dread. And yet,
Okay.
some
Great
choose
value
to
buster
stand
sword.
against it. Tainted, but unbroken. They call them Void Hunters.
No gameplay though. Says it's turn-based RPG and strategic. So, all right. Again, I gotta see more. All right, this is Samson. Wasn't this revealed at the Game Awards? Upcoming third-person action adventure game developed by Liquid Swords, the motherfucking Jizzle. Players will fight their way through the city of Tyndalston, where enemies around every corner and a sister that needs saving. Close quarters combat, get behind the wheels, explore, all that good shit.
As far back as I could remember, I worked for other people. They called it opportunity. I called it debt. The city never stopped moving, and neither did what I owed. I never picked the smart job. I picked the one that brought me another day. In Tyndalston, nobody waited their turn. If you gave them space, they took your teeth. Sometimes you didn't need skill. You just needed something solid. You hear that? Yeah. That's the sound a face makes when it meets.
I will say that first fight, I'm kind of worried about the AI.
I picked the one that brought me another day.
I don't know. It seems like it might just be one of those things where like they kind of just have it programmed that everybody just kind of attacks
In
you all the time.
Tyndalston, nobody waited their turn. If you gave them space, they took your teeth. Sometimes you didn't need skill. You just needed something solid. You hear that? Yeah. That's the sound a face makes when it meets regret. Pain built up. Adrenaline took over. I didn't fight to win. I fought to finish. Cars had weight. Every hit mattered. The more work I did, the louder the city got. Miss a payment, and they reminded you. They weren't negotiators. They were punctuation. When the day ran out, so did your luck. Sleep didn't fix a thing. It just reset the clock. It was all connected. Time, debt, violence, and speed.
So are you stuck in a time
People
loop
talk
here?
about freedom like it's a feeling. They have no idea.
A Ty Dalston story. Is this gonna be like a the fact that they named it that makes me think that they may have an idea to, if it might already exist, more like an anthology series thing. Multiple games of different stories and characters, but they all take place in the same city, in the same setting. You know. I mean, it looked okay. It looked okay. The combat got better, but it still didn't seem like it was that immersive, that great. All right, moving on to NBA The Run. They finally released another fucking video for this thing.
Oh, shot drop!
The spiritual success of the NBA Street.
Drop! This is the mixtape you've been waiting for. Joel Embiid doing everything for the floor. The MVP says, shh. Jokic from the corner, from the tee high, slap box in the jumper. Get it out of here, off the tablero. Yes, from 75 feet, he is wet. But we also got another MVP. Flash! James Harden from Los Angeles. Hey, come on now. It's not fair, people. This game is too much fun. You ready for this? Nah, you can't be. NBA The Run. Wish list now.
Yeah, a little bit. By the way, when they first revealed this game, was Luka still on the Mavs when they first released this game? I don't think so, because if they had Cooper, I was gonna call him Cooper Cup. If they had old boy on the cover, that wouldn't make sense.
Not fair.
Also, I hate the fucking editing of this.
People,
This for every fucking cut is annoying. That shit fucking damages my
it was
eyes.
too much fun. Another
I will say the animations do look cleaner than they did when they first revealed
This
shit.
is the mixtape you've been waiting for. Joel Embiid doing everything for the floor. The MVP says shh. Jokic from the corner.
I mean, I still wish there was a little bit more.
Shot drop. This is the mixtape
But maybe
you've been
maybe
waiting
that'll
for.
be the
Joel Embiid
arcade
doing
style.
everything
Like I feel
for
like
the floor. The MVP says shh.
the going from these animations to straight just the shooting animation is very abrupt. But at the same time, I think because it's arcadey, it's supposed to be like that. Because NBA Jam's kind of like that.
It's from the corner, from the tee high, slap box and the jumper. Get it out of here off the tablero. Yes, from 75 feet, he is wet. But we also got another MVP. Flash! James Harden from Los Angeles. Hey, come on now.
Especially when you get to this
Not fair,
point,
people.
that's
This game is too much fun.
Disorienting.
You ready for this? Nah, you can't be. NBA to run. Wish list.
It's
now.
still scheduled to come out this year, but they haven't really shown too much of it. Take a look at Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, and James Harden mixtapes for the run of 3v3 basketball game. So yeah. But yeah, I hope this is good. I hope it's good and I hope it works because I mean, 2K needs fucking competition. All right, and I think this is our last one. Ophelia. This is that space game where you play as like two different characters.
In 2060, Earth is dying, but we might have a solution. We've discovered a 9th planet in our solar system. Long theorized, long sought, and yet so close. First observations reveal a vast icy world encircled by 2 rings. It's magnificent. Spectroscopic analysis has been full of surprises. The atmosphere is dense, but stable enough to breathe with the right equipment. An electromagnetic field spans the entire planet, forming a complex energy network. Most importantly, our instruments have detected a mysterious heat source, a source that could allow liquid water to exist. Ice, snowfall, flowing rivers. This planet could have a complete water cycle. We're ready. We've trained for the harshest environment. Conditions are not optimal yet. But all the raw ingredients for habitability are here.
I haven't played a Don't Die game in a minute before this would be Don't Die. This is pretty
This world has everything to become humanity's new home.
Possible.
Granted, it's still just a big ass.
So we gave it a name. Not for what it is, but for what it will be.
We know the cause.
Persephone,
Tell him the truth.
the Greek goddess of fertility. It can't be a bad omen, right?
Ready now for the day 1 edition. You get some keychains and some motherfucking stickers. There you go. All right, but that is the end of our trailers, and that is the end of this edition of News Drop. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I very much appreciate it. Let me know what you think of some of the things in the comments. The Mindseye shit. The EA layoffs. Are you excited for some more Resident Evil Requiem story DLC coming? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, that is it for this edition of News Drop, and of course, that is it for this week of news. I will see you guys, well, not in 2 weeks, but of course, we'll have our next News Drop again in 2 weeks. So until then, everybody, always remember to stay safe. I fucked up my outro already. To stay watching, stay playing, to stay awesome, and of course, most importantly, stay safe out there. Until next time, everybody, I will see you all later. Goodbye.